During development projects, sometimes we need to install databases such as MySQL and some sort of tool to modify the table structures, like creating tables, viewing the columns, or modifying the data for some sort of quick test. And many developers opt to install that on the local machines, which is the old style of doing it. For years, developers have done that. But in this video, I will show you how to install MySQL database and phpMyAdmin using Docker. And in no time, we will have this applications up and running. Hi, my name is Huram Hanif. So once installed, we want to see something like that using Docker. This particular installation is on Windows, and currently there is an instance running Easy Eat Services. This is our demo application, which is running MySQL and phpMyAdmin. This is currently running. So this is currently a screenshot being displayed, which has over here the localhost, the port, and we can see that this is easy database, and we have a simple table called dish, and that has some records over here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and install these containers for the Docker, and we'll reinstall that, and we will go to our docker compose file how to achieve this one. Okay, so now we can see that this service is up and running as we saw earlier. So I will go ahead and stop this service. And now I will actually delete this. So just go ahead and say remove. And now this container is gone. So no more network for that one. You can see that there are a couple of networks defined there. And I'll go ahead and prune the not used ones. Okay, and we will execute this command again, and we can see while on this command, just to give you a brief overview, there are four types of networks in Docker. One is the bridge, which is the default one. It has its own local DNS, and there could be a couple of containers running within this bridge network, and each of that container will have its own IPs, which means that they can run on the same port. And then there is an ingress load balancer which runs in it, and we can expose that port, and then whereas host level network, that's the network level on the computer or the hosting machine, which means if you are going to use any port, then another container cannot run on the same port. So none is a kind of a sandbox. It neither provides the bridge capabilities nor the host. That's mean that no communication can be done if container is running in the none network. Okay, so this is the docker compose file you can have in any directory, because we don't have any container related code within our application. I'm just using easy it service. This is our exemplary project one. So version is 3.1, service is DB, image is MySQL. It will tell which image to look for, and container name. Restart is always, environment is MySQL root password. This is how you pass the environment variables, and MySQL database is the easy database. Now this is the ports, so we are exposing the port for this particular database to both. We are keeping 3306, and the volumes. Now this is important, and you have to type exactly this. Now this is a folder on my local E drive, which is 00 data MySQL db2. This is the folder I created. So that's where all the files for the MySQL will be generated. Now if you want to create a similar folder structure, please go ahead and create, or if you want to create another one, for example, if you have a C drive and then you have the temp folder, just change it to C colon front slash temp, and then this colon variable lib mysql, that's kind of a constant, it will remain as is, so you will not make any change over here. This is the area where you can play with your folder structure. So now let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we just saw the Docker Compose file, and what I will do over here is to start an instance for MySQL database, and we'll see what happens. So the command is docker compose up. Now it's important to see that this docker compose file should be here in this folder. You can choose, again, you can choose any folder you want, but I'm just keeping it over here. So we'll run this compose up, and we can see that the services are now running for that one. Now we can see already that how easy it is to run the MySQL database. We did not downloaded MySQL database or did anything else other than creating a simple compose file. Now let's have a look how it looks like into Docker. So this is the console. Okay, so now we can see over here that is the each services that's running over here, and MySQL database is running on the port 3306. So Docker network ls, and we can see there is a new network created easy. So if we don't provide the network name, it will pick the network name for the containers, but we can override this one, but for our purpose we don't need to do that. And this is a bridge, and we already talked about the benefits of using bridge. Okay, so I'm back into the Docker Compose file. This is again easy it services folder, where I have the Docker Compose, and based on this one we saw that network name was picked up from this one. Okay, so I have added this service, the section for phpMyAdmin. So this is the name. The image name is phpMyAdmin, and phpMyAdmin, the latest one. If you remember this one, this is the same naming convention as we used in one of our 15 minutes video for the Kubernetes. You can view that on my channel. So over there we used to have Khurram Hanif and then the slash and image name. In this case it is phpMyAdmin and phpMyAdmin. This is how you will write it down over there. So this is the container name. So this is the 8082 and the internal port is 80. Now this one will be exposed, and restart is always and depends on DB, which is this one. So that's mean that if it is successful, it will run, and then these are the username and password, and docker compose down. So we can see what's happening over here. It's shutting down it gracefully. And what we will do now is we'll run it again, composer up. Okay, so now we can see that my phpAdmin is up and running. And what we'll do is we'll go back into the, and here it is. Now it's up and running. And because it's exposed on 8082, so what we'll need to do is to test it on 8082 and enter. We can see that phpAdmin page is there because we use the root and root password, and we can see that easy it database is there. Now you might be wondering where this database come from. So as I told you probably in this one, that I had it installed already, and this data was persisted on my local machine on this particular folder. So even though we deleted the container from Docker, and then we created the database and we reinstalled the phpMyAdmin in that Docker network. But again, because the data was already persisted, so we have our database back. So that's the way how you achieve the persistence within the Docker world, that you are exposing that to your host, and host can then save the databases. Now if you have running it on and Docker running on Linux, then probably you will have something whatever over here you'll have something like this, and then let's say there is an opt user folder and then MySQL data, something like that, and then you can have similar copied over from here, and then you will remove this one. So this one will become your Linux folder for data, but because we are on Windows, so we'll leave with this one. So basically, that concludes the video for how to install MySQL, how to persist the data in your local machine, and then how to install phpMyAdmin and access it. And you can see that we have the root over there as well. Now, while talking about data, let me show you the quick glimpse on the data. So this is the 00 data, MySQL and MySQL DB2, and you can see there are all kind of files. These are MySQL internal files, and this is our database related folder, and that's where MySQL will persist the data. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this short video, and you will be able to play with this one and have it installed. If you like it, please feel free to like the video and leave a comment, and we'll see you shortly in another video.